Hello everyone, Hachadino over here, and as you always know, you like my videos, you can like them, and also if you like Subletly content or wrong content in general, you can subscribe in one of the casts that is somewhere. So let's begin. So while the server is down, I did something that I wanted to do for a little bit. I talked in the road Discord also, people gave me some ideas. So let's make a tier list of our talents in the Subletly tree. You can see here the options. They are not very incredible. And I took some crop shots of the different talents. And now I will put them, in my opinion, of course, how they are going to be. Of course, if you don't know the way the talents are put, it's like here. I will try to go from upwards to down. So let's begin with find weakness. Find weakness, it's good. It's not incredible or divisive or fan powerful. I this is something like also I think should be maybe baseline sometimes, but not always. It's a good talent. Makes our physical things hit harder because it gives armor penetration and also has some synergies with other talents. Now, improved backstab and improved shuriken storm. Here we are in neutral. Sorry, not could have been good. Neutral is they are ways for us to get find weakness. Mm, as you can see, some builds will not take the Shuriken Storm to go one way and get swift death, but we don't care that much. You just get find weakness with backstabs and find weakness with the storm, so you have those talents. If you don't, you don't. Except for some bugs, but let's not talk about that. And also another talent in that line is our big boy Shadow Blades. Let me show you the tooltip. So we cast this cooldown. It was originally 3 minutes, now it's 2 minutes, and it's way more powerful. It's like Dreadblades, but better. It's like the big brother of Dreadblades. Every single builder that you use fills your combo points, and also every attack does 20% extra damage as Shadow. Undisputed, one of the best talents. Now let's go a little bit down. So now let's go for Shot in the Dark. If you don't know what this does, it's bad. Uh, Basically, it's just like a travel point or kind of PvP, but we are more PvE focused. But even in PvP, you don't care that much that your energy is free, and it's also only one. If it was all the chip shots and kidneys in dance are free, that would be kind of decent. But it's only for chip shots, and it's only one. So no, not that interesting. Now, quick decisions. It's meh. Why it's meh? It's because the extra cooldown and maximum range like are good, but most of the times you just can't even get the talent. Not because it's a bad talent, it's because it's utility, but it's things that you can't really get. Same thing will happen with other talents. It's not that they are bad. You just you can get it if you don't go for the swift death, but with dust being so powerful, we don't really have many builds that can just take it. Now let's go for it's causing. I'm going to put these two together because they are new and they are kind of in the same power. These have are good. So now we already had this in the PTR and it got nerfed. It was 10%, 16 sorry, and now it's 8. You just get more healing. As you know from the monk talent one, it's really strong and it's really good for us. And we also have the Exiras in execution, hard to say. You get healing, and if you are full health, you get a shield. This in Mythic Plus is completely overpowered, and I don't know if it's going to get nerfed next week. We will see. But the only problem it has is that some builds can take it, like this one, for example. If you go for Swift Death, you can't really take it. I'm still putting it as good because of its huge power level in Mythic Plus and AoE and cliff situations because your ruptures and black powers and everything give you that shield. Also really good to be healthy before the hit. Now let's go down a little bit. And now we got Shrouded in Darkness. This is also bad. Mm, the same thing happens with this kind of throwaway travel points. I'm just going to put them as bad because we have the problem that, let's just say, builds that want to take it won't take it, and the builds that take it is just because they have to go down. Like it's not a super bad talent in the idea. So you use your shot of concealment, and everyone gets extra speed. And also, if they leave the area, they still have the stealth. You can also get your shout of concealment to 50% cooldown reduction, so it's 3 minutes. It's a little bit less because you are using dust too. So it's not like a horrible talent, but just the idea that you have to go down, otherwise you just don't take it because of how DPS focused we are. Like it's not like this where sometimes you can choose. You just have to go down. Now, for the next one, without a trace, let's just say this is powerful. It's also fun to have two banish charges instead of two, but it's also divisive because of a talent that will come later called Shadow Dust. And I really like it, but some people kind of hate it. Of course, no one hates it having two charges of Vanish. But they also hate when they have to use it for DPS instead of to game mechanics or to get a shield in the future. You will see something that I will just talk with now Fate to Nothing, and in this case also Cloaked in Shadows. This could have been way better if it had some changes to Cloaked in Shadows to have a little bit more choice. Because right now we will almost always take Fate to Nothing unless there is something that one shots us and we really want that shield because it only works with Banish. Like if it also worked with Dance, but like instead of a 30% shield, you got like a 15% shield, that would be really good. But otherwise, you just get Fate to Nothing because you get damage reduction and also move speed. Move speed, some people don't realize, but it's a really, really good defensive thing. Being able, and also some DPS, because being able to get to point A to point B faster without using our shadow steps or things like that is a really useful tool. And even while you are hitting and you can just dodge abilities way easier, if you take 2 or 3 steps, it takes less focus to do things. Now let's go for a talent that some of I don't even know the names. We have here Night Terrors and Terrifying Pace. So Night Terrors has like an idea and maybe a place if we could actually just have that row be utility. If you could just get it like on the old talent trees, you could kind of choose. Same with the move speed when you hit targets with Shuriken Storm. But the problem is all of the damage and things are so infra loaded, and you can't really go because if Silent Storm was as powerful as Swift Death, maybe you take it for some builds that want to do AoE. But just these two talents, they are not as strong. They are also not even that useful because you don't also want to take the slow and Shuriken Storm sometimes. Weird. So that's like a why. Why is just there? And now let's go to the next row. We have, of course, as I talked before, Swift Death. Check it's this one. Swift Death is just, let's say, divisive and powerful. Keep in mind that to get to Swift Death, we also have to sack improved Shuriken Storm for full single target builds, and then another DPS uh, like that point because we just skip quick decisions and also have to skip improved Shuriken Storm. And we do everything like that because Swift Death is so powerful now, even more with Shadow Dust and things, lets you get things way easier and way better, and also because other talents like Shadowcraft and Rotten, they also getting more cast overall is really strong. Imagine only by getting 5 seconds less is just so strong that we have to do all of those things. So now let's go for improved shadow techniques. This is just neutral. It's not good because it's also in the ballpark of you have to get it just because you need energy. I don't really like talents like that. Just you get it because it gives you energy. It's neutral. Like if it didn't give you enough energy, you will not use it. Like sometimes we do with shadow focus, and I'll also talk about that. And it's also not bad because it gives you energy. Of course, you want energy to use your abilities. Now let's just say Gloomblade is meh now. Like it's not bad. Like it gives you some power because it works with the talents that increase the damage of your shadow damage. Also, of course, it's shadow damage, so you ignore all the armor, and also you don't need to be behind your target to get the extra damage. But backstab just doesn't do any damage anymore, so we don't care. We just don't take it. Maybe for PvP for versus plate wearers or something like that. Now the next one. I didn't even put Master of Shadows because we won't ever play that talent right now. So it's first dance. And then first dance, it has its place. And it's powerful, but only in some builds. What do I mean by some builds? Builds that play ER and also when you want to just get into dance and don't use many of your shadow techniques procs and use a finisher when you begin dance that where we are going to do sometimes with rupture, like we are just going to dance rupture to get one dance macabre stack and the snap with Night Stalker and also a tier set to get the proc. So it's good that you only need to build to 2 or 3 or even nothing like in the open or some openers are using those 4 combo points to get a 4 combo point rupture. So then using a finality one the next dance. Let's forget about that. It's just divisive because on many other builds you just don't take it. Because it's not a huge DPS upgrade unless you do all of those things. Now of course this is one of our boys now. Secret Technique. The talent that was so bad in Shadowlands that you didn't even think about talenting it. It was actually for most of the time a DPS loss to use Secret Technique instead of Eviscerate. That bad it was in the beta for Shadowlands. And now, of course, even in this patch, it's one of our better finishers, and it also pairs really well with a talent that we will see later called Dance Macabre. I enjoy it a lot. Everyone likes it. It has had some bugs though. It is what it is. It also gets increased by our new tier set. Now, Relentless Strikes. Let's just say that this is just divisive. Why? I think it should be baseline. Like, it has just so much power. If you look, so much energy you generate with this talent alone. And it's just there, taking 1 point that you could have for some flavor or for cool talent. That's why, even if it's powerful, I think it's not fun or anything. I don't know. Weird. Now, Silent Storm. but I'm not going to put it on the Y tier because it has its place. Like it increases your damage in in places where you use Shuriken Storm, but it's so hard to get to it, and no build is going to try and kill those points. And also taking that point is not even that much of a DPS win. Like if it was like Swift Death, like for example, Shuriken, something like Shuriken Storm, it's one extra combo point. And if you got capped, it gives some Shadow Techniques stacks or something. That would be good. That would be cool, but now it's just bad. Now let's go for the next one. We are now on Premeditation. Premeditation is just, let's just say, could have been good. What does that mean? It's not a bad talent, you get some damage from it, but also it only working in Shadow Strike can be a bit of a problem sometimes. And of course, in the grand scheme of things, I'm also going to put on could have been good because while you are in Shadow Blades, it does nothing. So we had the idea to those 2 points if you are in Shadow Blades to put them in Shadow Techniques, but it never got nowhere. That's why it could have been good and better and things like that. Not much we can do. Now, the next one is plant execution and warning signs. These are just good. Like, even if you think that the warning signs is a meme talent for many reasons, because it gives haste, it's actually almost the same DPS at plant execution. Like 6% haste or 6% crit is just strong while we are in our cooldowns. Not much to say. It just works that way. Also, of course, with the old tier set, it has peak uptime, and if you play inevitability, you also get some extra uptime. Now, improved Shadow Dance. This I also think is divisive, and maybe it should be baseline, um, or just not be at all. Like if you want a strong Shadow Dance, you can make it short and super powerful, but having the option to make it longer without any option to make it like less powerful or something like that, it just makes it like a must take talent. And it's problematic. It also, of course, we take it because we have to go down to places, but that also makes us always take improved shadow techniques or first dance or something like that to go down through this very strong talent. Now, of course, we have a lot of damage in dance, so we add to dance to last longer. Just not much you can do. Then shadow finishers. This and deeper stratagem. These are the bread and butter of what we sub should have. Finisher talents that are good. Here you get extra damage as additional shadow. When you have find weakness, it also makes you think about the target that has to have find weakness. And secret stratagem and also deeper stratagem are just super good. You get one extra combo point and a flat 5% increased damage on your finishers. That should be what sub is about. These two talents really good. I just put them together because they are just that good and powerful. Now, replicating shadows. Replicating shadows is just a good talent. It is what a talent should be. It's a little bit too strong in single target, maybe, let's say, but still giving us the option to cleave our ruptures. And it's also in a place where if you don't need it, and if you are in a full single target situation, and if it was put correctly, you just skip it, like we do sometimes. And here, of course, you can just skip it. Just ignore this talent tree. It's something way older that we don't care about. Now let's go with Weapon Master and also Shadow Focus. These I'm going to put them in the white tier, not because they are super bad, but because they are relic of olden times. Weapon Master working on only Shadow Strike and Backstab does not make much sense. It should also work with Hurricane Storm and maybe our finishers or something like that. Like yes, it will make the spec a little bit more RNG or something like that. But most of the power was in getting extra combo points, and 15% is not like a huge percentage to proc. And of course, Shadow Focus is just have been nerfed so many times. We don't really care that much about it anymore. It was 25, then 20, then 15, then and now it's 10. Like if they want us to care about energy, stop putting talents like this. Depending depending shadows. Let's just say that if there was a world where deepening shadows didn't exist, and we have a static cooldown of shadow dance, it could be way stronger and maybe more fun. Remember, there have been more expansions where shadow dance had a static cooldown where had charges or things like that. Maybe Blizzard could really think about it and stop putting that much cooldown reduction in everything. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. If one is the strongest talent that we have, maybe, but it could have been many different things, and in a way, it doesn't really fit the like thematic of sub with super shadow dance and getting a lot of damage if you get them every like 30 seconds. Now you are ready, so this I will go for Veil Touch. I even I didn't even put it here because it's that unremarkable. But yeah, basically, Veil Touch is just meh. It's there. It's like something that you just take because you want to go down. It gives you some extra magic damage, and you take it also because you don't want to take Tornado. And Tornado is now in the white tier. Why? Of course, Tornado was kind of overpowered at the beginning of the 10.2 thing. That's why I put it on like this build that I was trying to do things. And it gave you full combo points while you had Shadow Blades, but now it does not anymore. And now, of course, we don't have Seal Fate, so our Cleave it's not that good. Or 2, 3 targets, it's horrible. It doesn't even give that much extra DPS in AoE in the like in the places where you can use Tornado. You would use like outside dance, use as a 60 energy builder and use two finishers or something like that on Cliff. It's just it had to had something else apart from that. Like of course it's not bad in full AoE things. Like you're going to fill your combo points with it, but you're also going to fill your combo points with Shadow Blades and other things. So that's also an anti synergy. You are still going to use it in some dungeons, but it's just there now. Now let's go for one of our thingies. This one I actually split because they have like different mentalities and inevitability. It's a neutral talent. If you are doing single target damage, if you're using builders, you take it. But it also has anti synergy with the other thing that I will talk about later, where you're actually using more finishers, so you are not using builders, so you get less uptime. So it's worse. It's kind of funny to be honest. Like it should also get some extra duration from finishers, but it doesn't. It's neutral, of course, because it's also not a bad talent itself. No sepsis. Sepsis, I kind of like them, but it's not subtlety talent, let's say. It fits more with assassination. The beta sepsis that we had in Shadowlands was really, really cool and a really strong thing for subtlety because it procced a banish. And the problem with that we have, and Outlaw and Assassination did not have with sepsis, is they get their extra mechanics. Like this also is something we don't get premeditation when we get those free shadow strikes. There's only like a way to put find weakness if you don't have find weakness. And also if you're in Shadow Blades and something like that, you don't really care that much because it feels combo points anyway, and you're going to be in dances. Of course, it does quite a bit of damage, and I actually like it, and I use in my builds if I can. Making the APL for this is a nightmare though, so I don't know. People will like it. Now let's go for Perforated Veins. Why? Perforated Veins and Lingering. Why do these two talents exist in Subtlety? Mm, like I don't mind perforated veins, and I use it to buff things like sepsis and maybe gore mouse bite and things like that. But I don't use it willingly. I just use it because sometimes it's the best way to go down, and because lingering shadows is just something that so bad. Like it was so good and now it's so bad. 1 point to for your backstabs to do instead of doing 2% of your total damage, now they will do 3%. Let's go. And it even decays also. So you're not even getting the good value of them. I don't know why it's still here. Like, if they buffed finishers, though, that's another thing. Because you could get, and if Perforated Veins worked with, like, also Shadow Strike and maybe other builders, like, for example, if Echoing Reprimand, Sepsis, and Gormao and things like that gave more than one stack when you use them, then you could consume them to empower a finisher. That would be cool. That's not. And lingering is just it. They also don't work with Shuriken Storm for some reason. They don't stack or do extra damage. Lingering will be kind of decent if it worked with Shuriken Storm, but it doesn't. Now I'm putting deeper daggers. Also, it's not here because it just hasn't changed. It does nothing. Just like neutral. Say, don't care about it that much. It's also not strong per point. Like Planet Execution got buffed per point. It was instead of 510, now it's 6 per 1 point, but this it should be like 10, I think, or maybe 9. Or yeah, 10 would be okay. Now let's go. Flagellation. I'm really sad I didn't put it here because for some reason I forgot. But let's say it's SS rank. It's what really we could have there. It's just so strong. You get extra finishers, and of course, you get extra power on those finishers as you stack them. It's just everything that Solidity should have. Like I'm even going to put it now, just in the video, so we can also have it there. Like I don't care about super daggers that much, but that one has to be going to pop it there. Bam. Really good talent. Some people may not like it that you have to always take it, but I really like it. In all situations, I think sub should have a way to get our finishers stronger. If it's not a cooldown, maybe a passive or something, but I like it a lot. Now, Invigorating Shadow Dust. Let's say it's the same with this. That's why it's the same also icon. And I'm going to put it in the same way. It's powerful, divisive, and it goes together without trace. You have two charges of Spanish that gives you 30-second CDR on your cooldowns. A lot of people don't like it. I quite enjoy it because I've been playing with it for a while. I also like using cooldowns and using build that use a lot of cooldowns, but some people just don't enjoy it. And also one thing that I have to agree, and everything will kind of think about it when we talk about this. It's a problematic talent because because this talent exists, you can make the other cooldowns stronger. Because if the other cooldowns are stronger and you get them more often, you just get too powerful. So if this didn't exist and we had stronger cooldowns, a lot of people will be happier. I wouldn't even care that much. Also, doesn't help that a lot of our cooldowns are 45 seconds, 30 seconds, 25, 1 minute, 1 minute and 30, 2 minutes. Just doesn't help. Now I'm putting Dark Shadows and Darn's Macabre, same as Shadow Blades and things like that. They're just really good talents for Subletly. And I hope they stay actually. If we get 11.0, extra damage in dance, cut and dry, and extra damage in dance, but stacking with each ability that is different that we use in dance. A really cool talent. It got nerfed, but it's good. The cooldown thingy, just ignore it. It's like for some debugging that they did once and they just said, no, finality. Finality is just a good talent. You get extra damage on your finishers. Some people may think that it should be baseline, but I don't think so. If you can put it here, like, but I do think that we may have had, like, if this was in different places, like if you had a finality for Eviscerate, finality for Rupture, a finality for Black Powder, like kind of a spread around the tree, but way stronger and with extra effects, it would be cooler. But we don't have that. We have this. And now for the capstones, we begin with the Rotten. The Rotten could have been good. Like, hear me before you begin things like that. I'm not talking about the builder thingy with Rotten. Like, people didn't mind Fist of the Dead when it was current. It gave you some combo points and it let you enter dance with 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 cool combo points. And it also was in a world in Legion when we still cared about our short dance. Like we had a 3 second dance, and with subterfuge we got to 5 seconds. Eventually, I think it went to like five, and then you get 1 extra seconds or something like that. There was like a mid thing rework, or and it was a cool talent. Now here now in Dragonflight, I didn't really like the first one. You only really got it because I only really got it because the tier set, of course, in the season 2. But I also played it in season 1 just because you didn't really have a way to get other talents that were better, and now you have a way. Like you still played with the old tier set, the tier 30, because you just get a free symbols, and you can also pop it before a pool. But it's not a cool talent. If it was finishers instead, so that would be another thing. Like using symbols and then you get extra damage on your finishes. Yeah, sign me up any day. Or maybe put them like something that stacks and then you can just snap, or something like an execute, or even something like Fatal Mark from Warrior, that you keep doing finishers and it stacks on the mob and then it does damage. Things simple at that, but finisher related, not builder. Builder is just boring. Now let's go for Shadowcraft. This is also super, super good. The way they changed shadow techniques, I didn't talk about that, but you should already kind of know if you are looking at 10.2 talent tier list. Now they stack on your character and they get consumed if you use a builder to fill combo points. Now this makes it so you get way more combo points and shadow techniques. more frequently and you gain one extra stack. And now if you are full on, like if you are 0 combo points, have 7 stacks of shadow techniques, it fills it, makes it so with our new tier set, of course, that we get 3 combo points, we can use 2 or even 3 finishers, and sometimes even 4 finishers with Echo and Reprimand in a row. And that's a really cool feeling, and we love it. And we already have weak auras that make funny sounds when it procs. Now, Gormouth's Bite. Gormouth's Bite has the same problem as Rotten. We don't really need energy when we are using Gormouth's Bite. We already have many talents that give energy. It does not do bad damage, and with Rotten and Perforated Veins, it can do a lot of damage. It also ignores armor and gets benefits from things that increase shadow damage, but the damage could be higher and the energy is not really needed. If you instead got extra damage on finishers, or maybe reduced like damage taken, or increased damage taken on the mob, like, or even something like marked for death, because like you bite target, it gets marked and you get those extra combo points, or you could even give extra shadow technique points. It used to in Legion, it only did damage and then it gave some energy, things like that. Then of course, Feeling Frenzy part gives you those things that we have now, the 3 stacks, or they were 2, I think, that gave energy. But that was in a time when energy was a lot scarcer. Now we don't really care that much. We are also going to use this in dance and not even notice it. Now, of course, for the last talent, Dark Brew. Dark Brew, I'm neutral about it. And not because it's a super good or super bad talent, it's just as a capstone, it's doesn't do much. Like if we had more nature damage and physical damage that could get converted to shadow, that would be way cooler. Or if it was everything, so now Eviscerate that does full shadow damage, and maybe Shadow Strike finally does shadow damage, and Backstab also would do shadow damage. Of course, that will make Gloomblade kind of useless, but you could make make it something so Gloomblade does cool things. And now, of course, it's a little bit underpowered with only 10% extra. Maybe they buff it to 15 or 20 that was one time. And that will be all. Kind of a long video, right? Almost 40 minutes of me just rambling. I don't know if a lot of people will say this. I will kind of add the talents that I missed, and I will put this as a template and link it in the description so people can kind of make theirs if they want. Although Subletly is not a really popular class, I mean spec, so I don't expect many people to do them. But maybe they do an assassination and roll a one. It would be kind of cool to maybe have Guy, Zach, or Whisper, or who knows, do a tier list. I will ask them if they want to do one for those. Well, see you all.